everybody. Well, another beautiful day.
Another day in paradise here in Kiwiland.
And lockdown. Lockdown paradise? Paradisial lockdown.
Sounds to me like a contradiction of terms, lockdown and paradise, unless of course you're stuck on a desert island like Tom Hanks was, and there's only you to take care of yourself, so there we are.
Anyway, we hope you're all going well, you guys. Love you lots.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew's going to start today by sharing something from Philippians.
So, for my devotional thoughts this week, we've just been wandering through Philippians chapter 1, and really it's been very much a meditational approach. And so this morning we're going to do the last 4 verses, Philippians chapter 1, 27 through to the end, verse 30. So Liz is going to read it for us, and then just a couple of thoughts to hopefully inspire you.
So verse 27. Above all, you must live as citizens of heaven, conducting yourselves in a manner worthy of the good news about Christ. Then whether I come and see you again or only hear about you, I will know that you are standing together with one spirit and one purpose, fighting together for the faith, which is the good news. Don't be intimidated in any way by your enemies. This will be a sign to them that they are going to be destroyed, but that you are going to be saved, even by God himself. For you have been given not only the privilege of trusting in Christ, but also the privilege of suffering for him. We are in this struggle together. We have seen my struggle in the past, and you know that I am still in the midst of it. You have seen my struggle.
Thank you. Back to verse 27. This morning, Liz read to you from the New Living Translation, and there's just a phrase in there which grabbed my attention the other day as I was reading. And it's this first phrase: above all, you must live as citizens of heaven. We have been on this amazing, and I'll use the term refocusing of our thinking over the last 3 to 4 years about who we are and what is our role, what is our responsibility. And Paul, writing to Timothy here, he says, above all, you must live as citizens of heaven. So let's just unpack this quickly. Above all, here's Paul. He's in prison. Last time we looked at the phrase, I want to live. To live is to serve you better. To die is to go to heaven and be with Christ. They're both fantastic options. But he says, I want to come and see you. I want to go to heaven. He says, I'm not quite sure which, but I think I'm going to come and see you again. And he says, but then he says, regardless of what happens, in other words, he says, looking beyond what happens to me, look beyond what happens to people around you. He says, above and beyond all of that, this is my charge to you, to live as a citizen of heaven. Wow. I find this an incredible challenge as we have been thinking about the kingdom of heaven and living as citizens of heaven. There's a really interesting phrase. Let me read it to you in the Passion Translation. It says, no, not this verse. We'll come back to that one. Sticking with New Living. Live as citizens of heaven, conducting yourselves in a manner worthy of the good news about Christ. This phrase, conduct yourself worthy, comes up in at least 4 of the letters that Paul wrote to the churches, the new churches in Turkey, today's Turkey. And obviously he's imploring, he's just calling, come on guys, understand and step up to what it means to actually belong. our Prime Minister has been gently and not so gently chiding us. Come on, team of 5 million. Don't drop the ball. Don't bend the rules because you're just frustrated.
And
Play the game.
The way through.
Yeah, with 3/4, maybe more. Don't let everyone else down, but live what it means to be part of the team. Paul says here, he says, live worthy of your citizenship in heaven. And there are 2 words, I was thinking about this morning. There are 2 words that I think sum up citizenship. One is responsibility, and the other one is the privileges. Responsibilities of citizenship and the privileges of citizenship. We're going to talk about the privileges when we come down a couple of verses, because there's just a brilliant passage there. But this morning, in this bit that we read, Paul really outlines 2 what I think are responsibilities. Let's read it again. So he says, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the good news of citizenship. And then he says, and then whether I come to you and see you, or whether I just hear about you, he says, I'll know this. He says, I'll know that you are, and this is what I believe are my responsibilities, and I believe they're your responsibilities as well. You are to stand together with one spirit and one purpose, fighting together for the faith, which is the good news. I believe that when we truly understand that it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what church family you belong to, it doesn't matter what denomination, it doesn't matter what position you hold on many doctrinal things. There is this command here: stand together with one spirit. Our Prime Minister's called our nation to stand together with one spirit over coronavirus. I'm talking about something that is ultimately way more important. It's the eternal consequence, the eternal outworking of the gospel of faith. And Paul says, I want to live in a manner worthy of the gospel, because then when I come, this is what I will hear, this is what I will see. I will see you standing together in one spirit. I want to just appeal to us this morning. He uses 2 phrases. He says one spirit, and he says one purpose. The spirit comes before the purpose, because the spirit is what flows from deep within our hearts and says, I am one. When Liz and I got married many years ago, as every marriage does, you go through a time and a season where your lives get merged and meshed together, and you come as 2 separate people, and then over time you become one in purpose. Your budget gets aligned, your vocabulary gets aligned, your prayer life gets aligned, your giving gets aligned. Everything about who you are is meant to, I hope so, is meant to become one in spirit.
Yes. Yep.
And you get to the point where you can look across the room and just raise an eyebrow or just move your head, and communication happens because you're one in spirit. There's something that says, yes, we're in this together. Paul says, come on, brothers and sisters. Living worthy of the kingdom requires our hearts to become so connected and bonded, not just to a husband or wife, but to the family of believers, of Jesus followers that you are part of. And I trust that you are part of a community of faith that is committed to something. Be one in spirit with that family. Be one, connected, that where you say, I am part of this family, and through conflict and difficulty, I am going to walk in this family, because this is what it means to be a citizen. Then he says, fighting together for one purpose. You see, Paul says, and we read it a couple of days ago, he says, I don't care what happens, so long as this one thing happens: the gospel, the good news of the kingdom, the good news about Jesus gets communicated. Paul says, I don't care if I'm in prison. I don't care if people are preaching the gospel and making it worse for me. Those are minor issues so long as the gospel of Jesus is being heard. I wonder what your purpose is, because that's really has got to be our purpose at Life Church Tauranga. Whether you're listening here in Uganda or India or America or wherever you're listening from today, our purpose is that the gospel, the message of Jesus ultimately is lived out, demonstrated, proclaimed, shared. And it needs to be done by a people who are one in spirit. Paul goes on in those last couple of verses. He says, verse 28, he says, if you have this oneness of spirit, and if you have this common purpose that you're fighting for, he says, don't be intimidated by your enemies. I love that. It's hard to stand against an enemy when you're on your own. It's tough. It's difficult. But you know what? When your brother is next to you, when your sister is next to you, when your church family is standing with you, when you're praying with people weekly, maybe daily at times, it's much easier to stand up and say, devil, get the hell out of here. Devil, back down. Resist the devil, because you know you're surrounded and connected into a family that stands with you. You're not alone. And even though we don't get to meet at the moment physically, we get to support and encourage one another. So I want to say, friend, wherever you're standing, wherever you're facing today, and there's been a couple of events happening in the life of our church in the last couple of days. We've had family members passing away from outside of the church, but family members, had someone in hospital in the last couple of days, challenges. But I just want to say, hey, brothers and sisters, we're praying for you. We're standing with you. We believe God is with us. Liz is going to lead us in prayer in just a minute. Let's agree together. Let's agree together that we will stand worthy of the calling. So honey, lead us in prayer today. Thank you.
Father, today we stand in the one God, the one true living God, the Creator. We stand in Him who is above all things, all our struggles, all our difficulties, all our lockdowns. And Father, we pray that the Spirit of the living God, wherever you are today, would encompass you, would strengthen you, would encourage you, would fill you, so that, Father, they would know, that you would know, that there is a place that you are in belonging, you are important in Christ, and that as you stand with your brothers and sisters across the world, we stand in unity to share, to communicate love, to communicate who we stand for, this God who is our Creator. We worship you today, we thank you. We thank you for strength coming into each one of us, that we can be ones who can overcome, who can go over these circumstances, who can be strengthened by them and through them. And so, Father, today I just pray for such blessing and favour to come on your people, that they would know who they are and who they serve, and that they can stand together in one and to stand strong in one purpose. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Awesome. Well, wherever you are today, whether it's Kiwiland, hello Moana, nice to see you there. Snuck in while we were talking. Very good. Wherever you are today, stand tall as a citizen of your country, stand tall as a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, and live in a manner worthy of who you're called to be. God bless you. Have a fabulous day.
Bless you.
And we'll see you 9 o'clock again tomorrow. Take care, ka kite ana, and have an awesome day. God bless.